My mom had me at the age of 28 years old. To this day, she still says that she wish she would have waited a little bit longer to start having kids. What's up, everybody? It's Zai from Officially Zai, and I am back with another video. In today's video, I want to discuss the childlessness amongst millennials and Gen Z in 2024. Growing up, marriage, having kids, starting a family, those weren't really things that came to mind when I thought about my future 10, 20 years from now. Those just weren't things that came to my mind. At the age of maybe, I'd say 18, if someone asked me where I saw myself the next 10 years at my age, which is 28, I'd say I see myself being far along in my career, having a nice paying job, purchasing a home, but it definitely wasn't getting married, having kids, having a husband, things of that sort. I was pretty career oriented, and a lot of that is attributed to how I was raised in my household. You know, my mom was a single parent, so those just weren't things that I could relate to. I saw my mom struggle a lot as a single parent. It was not easy, and I didn't see her happy a lot. Just imagine being 7 or 8 years old and seeing your mom struggling, and there's really nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. There's no job out there that is hiring, 7 or 8 year old. So what do you do? So a lot of days I would see her struggle and see her unhappy. I would see her work long hours, come home tired, not really being able to connect with us and see, what we have going on at school, things of that sort. The reason I'm saying this is because it has led me to my dilemma around having children. Being a millennial, having children at 28 years old. I do want to have kids. Do I see the possibility of having them at this moment? No. It seems pretty impossible. Some of the reasons that it seems impossible is financial reasons. Right now, the price of rent is super high. The price of food is going up. I think if I was in a position where I felt like I'd be comfortable and be able to be the mother that I need to be to my children, and still be able to work, still be able to maintain the household as a wife, I think if I felt more comfortable, like almost like a security, like if I felt secure in having a kid, I think my idea of having a child or children would be different. I just don't see that being possible right now. Just to give you some information about my current situation, I am, from the previous video, you know that I resigned from my job. It was a decent paying job. I was making around $20 an hour, but it still wasn't enough. Where we and my husband are staying right now, the cost of rent is around $1,500. Just the necessities, even with a 2-person household, is still really difficult to try to make ends meet. Even sharing an income is still really difficult. We don't buy a lot of crazy things. We don't go on a lot of vacations. We try to budget, and a lot of the money is going towards a car note or utilities. A lot of it is going towards the rent. My husband and I have had the discussion about having a child, and it feeling like it would never be the right time to have a child because of finances, and things are getting more expensive. We're thinking about things like the school system, public school system, and how much it costs if we wanted our kid to go to private school. We're thinking about the area that we currently stay in. Is this somewhere that we would want our children to grow up around? And we're at a place right now, if the landlord were to go up on rent at any moment in time, I don't know what we would do. I do feel like there's going to be a lot of people in 2024 moving forward that are going to be on the verge of being homeless because of the high prices of rent, things of that sort. I know that there are many reasons why our generation and the Gen Z's generation aren't having kids, specifically millennials. I understand that there are women out there that just aren't able to have kids, that really want to have kids. And then there's this other category that I feel that I fall in, is that we want to have children. We desire to have children, but we don't see it realistically being possible without struggling, or without, us feeling like we regret this decision. We want to make the right choice, considering all of the outside factors. And then you have the third category, which is millennials that just have decided they don't want to have kids. This is their personal preference. It would really feel good to know that there's other people out there that feel the way I do when it comes to parenthood as a millennial. As I become older, maybe in my 30s or around maybe 35, that I feel like I'm in a better place to have children. But at this moment in time, I just don't see that happening at all. And it's painful. I'm going to be honest. It's painful, especially when I log onto social media and I see my classmates having children. I see younger people, women that are younger than me having kids. And I'm just wondering, how are they doing this? Like, how were they able to wrap their head around bringing a child into an economy like this? My sister is 23 years old, and we just had a conversation about the work industry. She is working one job right now, but it's still not enough. She lives in a studio apartment, but she still doesn't make enough to fund everything she needs to fund. So she's currently looking for a second job, which I think a lot of millennials and Gen Z have gotten to that point where they feel like they need a second job just to afford the necessities. In this conversation, my sister did share with me that some of her friends do have kids, but there has been this thing on social media where pregnancy and having children is being romanticized. But when you actually look at what's going on, for example, she has friends that have had children, but these friends aren't living on their own. They're still staying with their parents. They're still trying to make ends meet. They're still struggling. And that's what I'm afraid of. Like, I can't stop thinking about, if I have a child right now, how much I'd be struggling to try and provide for this child, how much I'd be struggling to try to get my life together, because my life is still not together. I'm still trying to figure things out. And it just piles on a lot of stress. I'm hoping down the line I don't feel this uncertainty about parenthood or bringing children into the world. I'm just curious, for those of you out there who are millennials or Gen Z that have children, what are your thoughts around having children in today's society? What were your thoughts at this time when you decided to have children? Did you have these type of thoughts around having children and feeling like it's impossible to be able to provide for children in the economy that we live in right now? To the baby boomers and the Gen X, what advice would you have for someone like me that is a 28-year-old millennial that is questioning, this idea of parenthood? It just seems unrealistic at this point.